Hey guys, what's going on? KP here, back with another episode of the KP podcast. Glad to have you guys with us. We're going to talk some metal, talk some fun. I got a special guest here. He is the vocalist of a band called Second Death. Please introduce Josh Claxton. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing? I appreciate you having me.
Oh, no problem at all, man. I'm glad you're on. I'm doing great myself on this end. We're going to dive right into it. Who is Second Death, and where are you guys from?
Second Death is a metal band from Valdosta, Georgia, or based out of Valdosta, Georgia. A lot of us are from various different places. I'm actually from Georgia originally, but we basically are home based in Valdosta. And we're just a metal band. I don't really know how to describe it other than that. We're just a heavy metal band.
I gotcha. Okay, so you're the vocalist. Have you always been the vocalist?
I have not. I was actually the original guitar player for this band. But member changes, certain things happened,
right.
And I was just like, I think I can do this. I'd never really done vocals in a band, like, seriously. So this was my first go at it, and it's been some learning experiences for sure.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, with you being the original guitar player, you definitely know about the beginnings of Second Death. Go ahead, walk us through basically everything that is, was, will be Second Death.
Me and our bass player and our drummer were in a band together previously. And we had basically gotten to a point where we weren't happy with the music. We didn't like kind of a deal we had gotten at the time because we were on a label and all that.
Okay.
And I guess we just kind of fell out of love with where we were, musically, and we wanted to do something different. And so we just disbanded that, and, us three decided we would start a new band, and that's where Second Death came from. And we just wanted to write music that made us happy, which, I mean, I guess it's one of those things where we're excited that people like the music, but we wanted to make ourselves happy first, and just really make it about enjoying ourselves as a band. And we're very fortunate to be able to honestly be where we're at, which we're not, a big band or anything like that, but we get to travel quite a lot. And, I feel like this is where we needed to be as musicians. And, furthermore, I feel like we really made a connection with a lot of people in the U.S., and it's really made a huge difference in our lives, just being able to be happy. Because I feel like that's one big thing bands kind of do. They fall into a rut and they don't know how to get out of it. And we were fortunate enough to get out of it and start something new, something we can be proud of.
Right. Now, I think I came across you guys, social media, I think Instagram. Now, it's the end of 2019 now, and I can't put a finger on when exactly it was because I think I was just following bands that either sounded cool, looked cool, or were in the similar genre base. And you guys have definitely gotten better over the time, and I can definitely, I always see posts about tours and shows and this and that. So I definitely think you guys are going in the right direction and doing the right things, especially with that whole being in a rut, getting out of it kind of thing, and doing things to keep yourselves happy as well. Not a lot of musicians are doing things for themselves anymore. Sometimes it's a trade-off, so it's good on you guys. Like I said, it's end of 2019 now. How long ago did you become the vocalist?
I believe it was toward, if I'm correct, I think it was toward the end of, or middle/winter of 2016. If I'm correct, I believe that's true. Once you get older, you tend to kind of lose track of time.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm getting up there, so I feel like I'm losing losing how fast these years are going right now. But I believe it's 2016. So I'm a few years into it now. But my biggest issue with it was because I've been doing it for a few years. As soon as I became the vocalist, we just started touring, and it was like I had to learn on the road on how to be a vocalist, and that was kind of a trick for us, or for me. You know, it was just kind of a difficult thing to learn. It's basically trial by fire. You know, you just had to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure
But
you found out different techniques playing shows, and you're like, during this one song I tried this, maybe I could try it again, and it worked, and it just kept building off of that stuff. I know how it goes. So you're talking about 2016. We're talking about years here. Tell me about the releases you guys have out now. When did they come out? What kind of releases were they? Any fan reaction to the releases? Stuff like that.
The first record we put out, I believe, was like 2016, if I'm right. That I felt like that record was very rushed because we were starting over as a new band. We needed to get music out, and we had a lot of things going on in our lives at the time, trying to figure out where we wanted to go as musicians. And at the time, I was married, and it was just really difficult to take the time to put it in because we had so much going on, and I feel like the record suffered, honestly. And having to do all the recording ourselves and stuff like that because we were still paying off things for our last band. I felt like it suffered, and we did get a good reaction. It was definitely what we needed to be able to hit the road and get the shows and for promoters to look at us, and that helped out a lot. But once in 2017, when I believe that's right, when Substance came out, we had a new guitar player, who really understood how to write really well, and all of us being together, I felt like that album, that EP, really was the defining moment of what we were going to become and where we were going as musicians, and the reaction was just 100 times better than the previous. And that was really when we were like, okay, well, this is starting to make sense. We're starting to come into ourselves as a band. We're starting to kind of understand where we want to go. And then with Dirt Mat came out, I feel like that was another transitional period. It was another time. That was 2018. We've kind of honestly been very slow about releasing music because we wanted, especially me as a vocalist, I wanted to explore where I wanted to be and where I wanted and how I wanted to be a musician and a vocalist. And I think the rest of the band was kind of feeling the same way. We when you've been doing a certain kind of music for so long, to transition into something new, I feel like we had to kind of go through a process to understand what we wanted musically.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the upcoming release that we're working on currently, it's like, wow, we really know what we want, and it's really speeding up the process to where we can write music quickly, and I know what I want out of it, everybody else knows what they want out of it, and it's really kind of reinvigorated our passion. And I felt like that was a good thing that we were slow at releasing music because we were able to put the building blocks in the right place to get what we wanted. And I'm very happy with the new music we have coming out soon. It's extremely exciting about it. I'm very, very happy about it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. So with this new music coming up, you yourself, you're a little bit more focused, and the band as a whole was a little bit more focused with this coming release.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. And it's definitely I feel like I hate even using this word as an artist because I wouldn't describe myself as an artist. If I'm more of I'm not a very artistic person, but it's almost like it's becoming more natural. It's becoming more of, instead of us having to work toward the final product, it's just coming naturally to us.
I gotcha. So you mentioned when you became the vocalist of Second Death, you immediately started touring. That wasn't your first tour, certainly wasn't your last tour. You have many tours that you've went on. What is it like being on tour as yourself, with your friends, touring with other bands, and do you have any stories that you might want to share, things that really stick in your mind that you'll be telling your friends for the next however many years to come?
Oh, he's probably gonna kill me if I talk about it. Yeah, I can. I got a couple. Honestly, just I would like to start it with one about touring. Touring is not easy, obviously.
No.
I feel like a lot of young bands come out with a misconception that it's just just gonna be very simple, but it's really not. And for us, we're fortunate enough to have been doing this for a long time. I've been touring for over a decade, well over a decade. So being on tour at this point, so in the where we've set ourselves up at, it's amazing. I feel more comfortable in the van than I do at home at work. Having to go to work every day. I would much rather be in my van traveling. That's what it's like. But my band is very. We're not the smartest people. I'll be upfront about that. So we get a lot of crazy situations. But the one story, and our drummer is going to be probably kill me for this. It was actually before Second Death. We were touring another band, and I'll be telling this story till the day I die. But we were on tour with a band in Canada, and they were young kids, and they were Canadian, and we were having to share a van with them, so we had to spend a lot of time with them. And apparently one night, we were in, I can't remember the city now, in Canada. Guelph, Ontario. And I guess what happened was the other band, the younger guys, ended up talking to these two other guys on the side of the on the sidewalk, and they ended up talking, and everything seemed okay at first. But long story short, the two guys started fighting the other band, these young kids. And, we're all older, so we're just like, we have to take care of these guys. But
Right.
I wasn't there. I was still in the venue, and our vocalist of that band, I was playing guitar, ended up trying to fight these guys off to get them off of them, and so I hear the commotion, and I start running, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, and I guess our vocalist at the time, there's two of those guys, and he ends up throwing one into the street, and our drummer heard the commotion, starts running over, and before I can get there, I just hear the loudest smack like I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard anything like it. It sounded like a gun went off. And we're in the middle of the city, so it's just like echoing everywhere. And it's just loudest smack ever. And I get over there, and one of these guys, and basically the guy just like, we don't even know really what happened, but what we were told was they were extremely drunk, and they just started throwing punches at these kids. And these kids are maybe like 18, 19 years old. So our drummer apparently full speed ran and hit this guy. And he was just like turned around, looked at everybody, and he let out the biggest Ric Flair woo I have ever heard in my life. And we were just like freaking out. We're like, we're in Canada. We don't know anything about laws here or what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just freaking out, and all of us just standing around trying to figure out what's going on. And so the other guy that they were in a fight with ends up like running into the street, and he's screaming. I mean, these guys are completely drunk, like gone. And he runs into the street, and there's a cop car like coming down the street. He jumps in front of the cop car, starts slapping the cop car, reaches inside the window, grabs the cop, starts shaking him, freaking out. And the cop gets out, and the guy that was drunk, he might have been 5'4", a real small guy.
Yeah.
And the cop gets out, and I swear on everything, this guy had to been like 6'8". And the cop gets out, and he picks this guy up, slams him on the roof of his car, puts handcuffs on, throws him in the car. And we're all just, like, standing on the sidewalk, like, freaking out. And at this point, I guess the guy Gio had hit had woken up. And the cop just runs over to us, and he's like, what the F is going on? Like, what is going on? Screaming at us. We're just like, they just started swinging on us, and we just defended ourselves. And he's like, it's fine. And he runs down the street where the other guy was knocked out, had woken up and started walking away, grabs him, drags him into the cop car, and just drives away. And we're all just like, we all thought we were going to jail. Like, we all thought, like, this was it. Like, and our drummer hates us, because we tell the story all the time, and he hates it. But his name is, it's his handle, I think, on Instagram now, too, but it's King Cheap Shot. So he actually has a crown that says Cheap Shot on his tattooed on his hand now. And that is the one story we tell everybody, and we always talk about it, and he hates it. I know as soon as he hears this, he's going to give me so much shit about it. He's going to be so mad. But, you know, that was still, like, one of the best, like, nights of my life, because you just, like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you end up defending these kids, you know, helping them out, you know, from getting beat up, and we're just like, we're going to go to jail in Canada. Like, who goes to jail in Canada?
Right.
Of course it would be us. Like, you know, how we're going to get sent home. We're never going to be allowed back into this country. And then those two guys are going to get arrested. It was a wild night. I'm not going to lie. It was like we were all shaking and freaking out. But
yeah, I bet the adrenaline was high. I bet they were very grateful. Bet they were very grateful for you helping them out. I'm picturing this cold town in this echoing city while you're saying this. And you're saying the loudest bang you ever heard was the cop slamming the guy on his hood?
It was crazy. It was a wild night. And that's the biggest police officer I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm only 5'8". Like, that man's a foot taller than me probably. And it was like, oh, wow.
Just a beast.
Okay, like, yeah, terrifying looking man. Canadians, man. We've met some very large Canadians every time. So, but we've had countless things happen. We've ran out of gas in mountains. You know, we've been through tornadoes. We had a venue literally get hit by a tornado the day before we were supposed to be there.
Wow.
And then, you know, hailstorms, having to pull over in the middle of nowhere for hailstorms, driven through hurricanes. We drove through a blizzard once without a heater. That was great.
Oh, no.
It got so cold when we were driving through the blizzard that the inside of our van's windows started, like, icing over, and it started getting warm in the van. It was like an igloo effect. Which at that time, I didn't. I'm from Georgia, and I have very little education, so I didn't even know what the igloo effect was until that day.
Yeah.
So somebody explained it to me. But, yeah, we've done some crazy things. We've been through some trying times.
Now, I'm sure any...
Like
go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I said one day I'm going to write a book about all the things that have happened to us on tour.
Yes. Now, one thing I'm sure, if there's any musicians listening to this or anyone that's in a band, they're laughing because they understand the struggles behind this stuff. Some people that are listening to this may not be musicians, and they're picturing these things in their head. What is the most challenging part about being a musician? Is it touring? Is it recording? Is it being with the guys? Is it meeting people? Like, what do you think is the most challenging part?
Honestly, I feel like the most challenging part is coming home. Because people don't realize that.
Probably what?
Coming home. Like, coming home after a tour.
Oh, coming home, okay.
Yeah, because, like, people don't realize this, but, like, when you go on tour, it's almost like a time warp. You know, like, you know, you're going to be at home. If you're at home and you're not on tour, you're going to see all the new movies that are coming out. You're going to see all these new video games come out. You're going to get to see your friends all the time. You know, you're going to get to hang out. You're going to get to do those experiences, which is not saying that that's better than being on the road, because it's not. But when you come home, it's like, man, like I missed so much. You know, I missed a lot. I'm not there with my significant other, or in some of our cases, like we're not there with our kids. You know, so it's like when you come home, it's like, man, like I missed so much, and I don't even know where I am at this point sometimes.
Right, you gotta play catch up.
Right, and it affects your life a lot. Like, this is going to be the first year in probably 4 or 5 that I'm going to get to see my parents for Christmas. When I was married at one point, and I don't think I was home for Valentine's Day for probably 4 years in a row. It's really difficult. It puts a lot of pressure on your personal life. So coming home sometimes, it's just like, wow, like now, I have to try to rebuild relationships. I have to try to work on it again. And it's very draining. Like I have to, having a job, like I'll come home and go back to work. It's like, man, like I don't even know who half these people are that are still here because, everybody else moved on at some point.
Right.
I feel like sometimes coming home is the hard part.
Right. That's a very interesting perspective. I never would have thought about it like that. So thank you for that answer. That's a really good answer. You mentioned earlier that you guys were working on new music. What is next for Second Death? We're at the end of 2019, leading into 2020. Go ahead and tell me.
We're doing a full-length record. Really excited about it. Called Waste. We have at least 2 tours that are already booked. Can't say who they're with because of I guess like booking agent reasons.
Right.
But there are at least 2 tours in 2020 come up. We're already talking about booking out into the summer. Just basically a lot of shows. I know we're playing Pizza Fest. We're going to do a tour at the Pizza Fest this year.
Where's Pizza Fest?
That's in Chicago.
So Deep Dish Pizza Fest is what you're saying. Okay.
I believe that's right. You know what? I'm going to look like a jackass because I think it's in Chicago. Because when we say that, when I say I'm dumb, I literally don't know anything about whatever is going on. Clark, our bass player, knows literally, like Clark is so, I don't even understand a word to describe him, but Clark can tell you who like the locals were on the first show we ever played.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Clark knows, he just remembers everything and every person. He just knows how to remember them. And I am so dumb that I forget, I will never know what the date is. I will have to look on my phone and I will have to ask somebody, like, do you know what date it is? I am that person. So, like, I just know Clark was like, yeah, we're playing Pizza Fest this year with Falsifier. I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. I'm overweight and bearded. Like, pizza is my thing. Like, that sounds amazing. Like, I know, and apparently it's like a big festival they do every year, and it's like free pizza and all this. And I was like, man, this sounds insane. And he's like, yeah, man, there's always like tons of people there. It's a big fest. Like, it's gonna be great. I'm like, I heard pizza. I was there.
Yeah, you had me at pizza. Yeah, you don't have to tell me the rest. I got you.
Like, I'm down. Like I'm in. Like, let's go. And I know that's coming up, and I know we're working on our 3rd tour that year being booked right now. And the full length is what I'm really excited about because we've always been the band that like I prefer doing. Like, I like having a ton of guest spots, and I just have so many people that I'm wanting to do from certain bands. I'm really excited about it. So like we're gonna have a ton of my friends on it, and I'm just really excited to the direction we're going musically. And so when we're getting ready for this new year, I'm just like super excited about being able to kind of show everyone where we're going and be able to meet everybody. Like I don't really care ever about being in a band that has fans. Like that word sounds stupid to me. Like I don't want fans. I want friends. I want to meet new people. I want people to want to hang out with us. Like that's my goal as a musician, is I just want to like hang out with people. Like that's what I'm excited about.
That's a good goal. That's a really good quote
I'm,
as well. I
I'm
don't want
basically,
fans. I want friends. I'm gonna remember that one.
I'm basically Santa Claus. Like, I want to be in a good mood, and I want to meet everybody. Like, I want to be friends with everybody. Like, that's my goal.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's how,
Well, I know you don't want to say the word fans, but do you have any final words for any fans out there listening?
final words. If you don't know the Avril Lavigne conspiracy, look it up. It's real. And I'm really excited to hang out with everybody, and I want to talk shop and like hang out with as much people as possible. And if you're listening, come hang out with us on tour. Our new album's going to be out early 2020. Come hang out with us and pick it up. Hopefully we can work something out. Check out our merch. We got some cheesy ass merch. It's really funny. Someone's got wrestlers on it and stuff. But most importantly, come out to the shows and hang out with us, because that's what's important. Just get to meet people.
All right, very cool, Josh. I will talk to you here in a second off air. That's Josh Claxton from the band Second Death. They have a new album coming up they're working on right now called Waste. It's a full-length album out in 2020. They got a few tours coming up. They haven't announced who with yet, so be prepared for that. They have other releases as well out right now that you can check out. They got different social medias you can check out as well. That's going to finish it up for this episode of the KP Podcast. I appreciate anyone out there listening, and see you guys next time.